Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another videos, another paid request, this time for Joseph. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send them either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. If you do send through PayPal, make sure to send it through the, I forget if it's called Family and Friends or Gifts one. Seems like that works better for PayPal, if you want to. But this is for the Pope's Exorcist from 2023. Which, I gotta be honest, I had little to no hope with this film. Because with exorcism films, there's only a few that I really like. Now, I do like The Conjuring. Don't mind the second one. I love Exorcist 3. I really like this one called Deliver Us from Evil. I don't mind one called The Exorcism of Emily Rose. But there's so many others I'm just like, oh my god, man. Especially that new Exorcist film, Believer. Yeah, believe this. More like it. So I'm, looking at the cover. I'm like, okay, what's this about? Now, it's directed by the same guy who did Overlord, which I liked Overlord. Thought that was a pretty good movie. He also did Samaritan, although I don't know if that was a film that was messed with after the fact. Because I swear I remember it was going to be like an R-rated movie. Then ultimately that wasn't the case. So I don't know. I wasn't a fan of Samaritan, but I did like Overlord. So now he directed this. And overall, I liked it. I surprisingly liked the film. It does have its flaws. I would still put Exorcist 3 above it. I would still put Delivers from Evil above this. Most definitely. But I liked it. And that's mostly because of Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe was definitely the MVP of this movie. Some people make fun of his Italian accent. I thought he did a really good job with it. He was assertive, strong, quirky, funny, and made the film at the very least a decent time waster. I'll put a little bit above that because, again, I was quite surprised that I did like the film. I don't think it was as bad as some people make it out to be. And again, miles better over Exorcist Believer. But I wouldn't call this, oh, it's such a gem. It does have its flaws, but I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it. A little bit better than all right. So Russell Crowe is Amorth, and I'm bad with names, I'm mispronouncing it, I'm sure. He's the chief exorcist of the Catholic Church. This takes place in the 80s. We're introduced to his character and this person who is seemingly possessed. And the way Russell Crowe approaches this guy, and he's like, oh, you have power, huh? Okay. You have this power? We have this pig. You demon, can you possess this pig? Huh? See, I don't think you have the power. Why don't you possess this pig? Huh? What do you do that? I don't know why I think that's an Italian accent, but bear with me. What do you think you do that? Taunts him. So the demon gets into the pig. They shoot the pig, or at least someone else does. And when he comes in, the church is pissed at him. So Russell Crowe is kind of like the renegade cop, and you're waiting for the boss to say, turn in your badge. Or this is like the Exorcist version of that. I kind of like that approach. It made it feel a bit different, but also relatable to things I'm more into, like action films. Does that tell us this has a little bit of an action motif? Probably because of the director, like he did in Overlord. I would put Overlord above this as well. But I did like that at least somewhat different approach. And Russell Crowe's looking at these guys and he's like, I know a firing squad. I know a firing squad when I see one. And at least he's pretty funny. He's a guy that, he's an exorcist, but at the same time, someone will go, well, that's a question of theology. And he'll look at them and go, no shit. So I thought Russell Crowe did a rather good job in this. Now the plot, I didn't mind the plot of the film either. It was a family, a mom, a daughter, and a brother. Mom, a daughter, and son. They go to this spooky mansion. It's an abbey, religious ground. They're pretty much there because they don't want to fix up the place and sell it eventually. So they have people working there. But when people are working there, they're trying to get some stuff to unleash something, and this big fireball comes up. Look like practical explosion, practical fire, which is nice. At least that's what it looked like. And after that, the little boy gets possessed, and it wants a priest. They get a local priest. The guy gets thrown out of the room, and the possessed goes, "Wrong fucking priest." So they get Russell Crowe's character, who drives around on a scooter, on a Vespa. He's just a very fun, quirky character. I really liked following this character. I thought Russell Crowe, he wasn't sleepwalking. He was committed to it, and he made the film entertaining to watch. Didn't mind the guy who is the local priest. They almost had like a little buddy cop banter with each other. Where I like that feel to it. Again, made it feel a bit different. Franco Nero, Django himself, is the Pope. Always nice to have Franco Nero in there. And like when Russell Crowe was talking with the younger priest, "Oh, I know your stuff." "Oh, okay, and you read the books?" "Oh, no." "The books are good. You should try reading the book. The books are good." And like when Russell Crowe is confronting the boy, and the boy's talking about your nightmares, and Russell Crowe's like, "You know what my nightmare is? France winning the World Cup. That's my nightmare." Now, the flaws with the film is the film was never creepy. The film was never scary. It doesn't do a whole lot of original stuff. And sorry about the background noise. A lot of people are working out there doing stuff. But there's not a lot of originality. Once in a while, there's something kind of cool. Spoilers. Again, the spoilers. Like when Russell Crowe has the boy following something, the pupils kind of split, and the other pupil is following the thing while the other stays put. I didn't like that was a neat little visual thing. But I mean, you have the possessed person cursing, saying foul language. Okay, this figure is gonna look into your deepest fears. What are your deepest fears? The Exorcist having a bit of a backstory that involves war, which I mean that was done even in what was it, Dominion, the prequel to The Exorcist, and yeah, which was also Exorcist the beginning, because that was the same film they filmed twice, because they thought one did worse, so they filmed it again. So it technically is two films, one Rennie Harlan, one Paul Schrader. So I mean, you had stuff like that going on. It's nothing original on that front. Like I said, I would appreciate a bit more like creepy factor, atmosphere factor, or like, wow, I really haven't seen that before in terms of the attempt at scares. So as a horror film, I don't think it worked, but as a film, kind of a bit of action film, it worked a bit better for me. As I said, the two priests almost became like a buddy cop type of thing. There's a bit where Russell Crowe's looking at this well, and when it envelops, this big fireball comes up and explodes in front of him. The actual story, I didn't mind spoilers that when the two priests go in under this abbey, they find these remains of these skeletons, and that this is a conspiracy that the Catholic and the Vatican kept hush hush, and actually involves the Spanish Inquisition. and it changes how the Spanish Inquisition started. That a demon possessed an exorcist. Like, I think they possessed a priest or an exorcist. Like they possessed someone who helped start the Spanish Inquisition. So all these years, as if we're doing this for God, really we're doing it for evil because the guy leading it was possessed. Which, in a weird way, makes sense in the fact that, well, this is supposed to be all for God, but how could you do this vicious things? Of course, it makes you wonder, well, what about all the other people that did it? Were they possessed as well? Granted, this thing can possess more than one person, but it seems like maybe two is his limit. Which is also something a little bit different. They could possess two people at the same time instead of just one. But then that kind of goes away. Because it seems like there's other opportunities it could possess two people, and it really doesn't. Like at the end of the film, it seems like, okay, well, it could possess. Why don't you possess two people now, but you don't? Because at one point it possesses the boy, but it's also possessing his sister, and they're both possessed. And so the priest, one's having to deal with one, one's having to deal with the other. I do like the moments where Russell Crowe can be a bit assertive as the priest, where, like, the mom is being pulled into the bed and Russell Crowe saves her, or the girl's being attacked and Russell Crowe is trying to hold the demon back. And hell, I wish they could have even done more over the top action, and that would have been fun to see. I kind of wish they even went further with that. But there's other stuff that, like I said, Russell Crowe really made the film watchable to me and made the film fun to see. And I would see the film again just for his performance. Like there's a bit where the young priest gets, again, spoilers, he gets too young to the kid, and the kid gives him a Mike Tyson, bites part of his ear. And then later on, Russell Crowe's talking to him and go, well, I remember this one time I once had a demon try to put a crucifix into my eyeball. And he's like, no, I don't want to hear anymore, okay? I just don't want to hear anymore. And by the third act, kind of like The Exorcist, the priest goes, take me, and the priest gets possessed. But Russell Crowe's holding the demon off, get the kids out and the family out. The young priest does, but he comes back. Russell Crowe's being possessed. There's some nice visuals. There's a bit where he's standing still, but the whole room is circling around. There's some nice visuals there. And then he kind of, as he's walking, all this stuff is exploding. He even tries to hang himself, but then the demon won't let him because he's trying to get him into the Catholic Church and to go undercover. So I kind of like that bit of difference, that there's a different type of goal that the demon wants. Because a lot of times these demons don't really have a lot of goals. It's just, I want to fuck up this kid's life, or I want to fuck up this person's life. No, this actually has a different type of goal, and I like that there's a little bit more meat to that, storyline wise. And each priest has their own inner demons. One was his girl that he loved but didn't marry. The other was this lady that Russell Crowe didn't help because I'm an exorcist, not a psychiatrist. I can't help her. But now he regrets. He wished he could have helped her, and found out later that she was abused by certain people, and he wishes he could have helped. So the good people, it just, sadly, some bad things happen. Now, if this demon can possess two people, I don't know why it didn't just possess both of them and just like kill the one priest and then go with the other. If it was able to do that before, I don't know why it can't do that now. It makes the young priest see his inner demon, but then made me go, well, why don't you just possess him? Because you possess the boy and the sister, why don't you possess Russell Crowe and the young priest. Maybe they said a reason and I missed it, and I apologize for that, but that was a bit confusing. But I did enjoy sort of the action finale where the young priest is taught to Russell Crowe, hey, you gotta fight it, and then Crowe's doing it. And I like that the younger priest gets like a. Russell Crowe's like, use your thing, use your medallion. And the younger priest does, and makes his inner demon blow up in a bloody, gory way. I didn't expect that, but that was fun to see. That reminded me of something that would happen in the 80s. And then the guy would throw a crucifix as if he's throwing a gun to Russell Crowe, and he's fighting the demon back, and the demon falls back into this pit of hell. And they're able to close the door, explosion, they fly back. That's what I mean. I like the action, explosive element. People may consider more campy, but it was more fun and a fuckload more memorable than Exorcist Believer. And then what kind of put the cherry on top as to I like the film is they're both sitting there and Russell Crowe looks at the younger priest and goes, you know, you look like shit. Like I said, I wish I could have seen another movie with these characters. But the film bombed. It got ridiculed. I didn't think on seeing it because this is not, the second coming of fucking exorcism movies. But it was fun. It was entertaining. Again, the spooky shenanigans, I wish they were a bit more creative. They're not as creepy as you would see in The Conjuring. They're not as creative as you would see in Exorcist 3. I think even like Deliverance from Evil had a little bit more impact to certain sequences. So I wish those were done better. The horror, like I said, the horror element I thought was lacking, but the buddy cop, little bit of action, explosive element with Russell Crowe's performance made this film a thumbs up for me. So overall, I did like it. So a lot better than I thought it would be. If I saw this for, a good enough price on Blu-ray, I'd pick it up for the collection. And would it be on my top 10 list? I mean, it wouldn't be much of a list, so probably. So yeah, I liked it. There hasn't been one film this year that you go, I fucking loved it. It's more, I liked it, or it was okay. So it's been a shitty year. But yeah, Russell Crowe did a good job, man. With that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later.